Hi, everybody. Cody from the Way of the Void here. Just hoping that you know that this is just for entertainment purposes only. We're just trying to make you giggle a little bit. It's damn near designed so you can't learn anything from it. Just keep that in mind. It's just laughs, folks.
There is no other God. Satan killed him.
Cody.
Yeah.
This is the Way of the Void.
This is the Way of the Void.
I'm Eric, by the way.
I'm Cody.
What's up, man? How are you?
Not too bad. I'm used to the new setup now.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
going to see this guy right in the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Ooh,
where it's good.
Where it's good, right in the yellow.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right in the yellow.
Perfect.
Producer Nikki's here too.
Producer Nikki's here. What have you been up to?
Been playing a lot of the Space Marines. Still fucking waiting for you, both of you, actually.
I'll get around to it.
I know it's not for everybody. I'm aware of that. They made a particularly kick in the dick of a game. But
Yeah, it's funny because it does kind of seem like one of those like hack and slash games where you're like running around
it is.
hacking and slashing.
You do.
But the buttons are like really complicated.
No, they're not.
Oh,
No, they're not. If you're a man.
well,
If you're ready for the fight, then, you know.
I'm also old and lazy. I don't like learning anything.
Neither do the Space Marines.
That's true.
What's your point?
Why do you think the podcast sounds so bad? Because I don't want to learn how to fix it. I don't want to learn how to fix it.
You don't have to anymore, dude. We got producer Nikki now.
Yeah, producer Nikki's in the house. He's doing great. We just had some lunch. We're all full.
I can't wait till the first one sounds like shit.
When,
I'm gonna secretly record you fucking reaming out Nikki.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Patreon exclusive.
Yeah.
Me fucking chewing Nikki out.
Yeah. They're gonna love it.
Yeah. Well, you missed it when he broke my goddamn iPad.
I know I wasn't here. God damn it.
Yeah, he was setting up the camera and it fell off of its
I would have stirred the pot.
What do you call this little thing, Nick?
My camera's fine.
Yeah.
He was adjusting the camera and it fell off of its fucking perch, whatever it's on, and it fell right onto the screen of my iPad. The screen looks fine. It's scratched up, but it's not like distorted the color or anything.
God, I would have egged it on.
Yeah,
it would
I know.
have been bad.
I
Would've been bad if I
I actually
did.
forgot about it until just now. Now,
The protective case protected it.
yeah. The protective
It did its job.
the screen protector protected it.
Well, this is gonna piss you off even more. But I'm not even on your side on this one. I had to weigh it. Like when I showed up, it was like, hey, you know, your iPad or the thing that we're using right now. Like, I'm glad that's not broken.
Yeah, I used that to draw all of our stupid thumbnails.
Yeah, well, you know.
Do you want to draw it? Do you want to draw all that stuff?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I'm just saying, for timing wise, look at him. Look how mad he is.
Do you know how long it takes me to find a black and white photo?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we breaking into your busy social life? You fucking hermit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't already have thousands of them saved
Yeah.
in my camera roll.
Yeah. I'm just saying, of the things that could have hit the dust today, I'm glad it wasn't the camera.
The camera?
Yeah.
Well,
So is Nick.
let me throw this little wrench in that theory.
Okay.
Behind me, there's fucking like 3 DSLR. What are they called? The cameras?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
mic's not on.
like 3 cameras behind me. So if that would have broke, it would have been fine.
Really?
Yeah.
I switched sides. I'm on your side again. Why did you break his iPad?
My camera's fine.
Yeah, all right. Well, I wasn't here. I didn't see the fucking iPad gate.
So
It sounds like there's some deniers. Nikki hasn't admitted anything.
So we're here today,
Smart.
and we're going to discuss a topic for our one fan that listened to episode probably 0. We mentioned it, and then episode 1 we mentioned it.
What it was going to be, right?
It was going to be the vampires of Appalachia,
Yeah.
and then I started promoting on the Instagram that it was going to be American vampires.
I saw you did that. I'm excited to hear why.
But now I changed it again to the New England vampire panic.
Ooh.
So I was really fascinated by the thought of like vampires in Appalachia and like what kind of like a weird Appalachian folklore there would be about vampires.
Sure.
There wasn't a lot. There was like only like one major story that there was like a lot of documentation about, and it was pretty interesting. But so
No.
a handful of the channels on YouTube that covered it
Yeah.
were like, I don't know if they were like, I think they were like Appalachian folklore channels.
Ooh.
And so they're just like, this is the story about the Appalachian vampire.
Oh, it had like a creepy
yeah,
pasta.
yeah. And he's
delivery.
like, sit down by the fire and let's have a conversation. And I was like,
oh, fuck.
can't fucking do it.
Just sounds like Jason's talking to you.
Dude, like, I understand that we're doing a pseudo paranormal podcast. You know what I mean? Like, I know that we're both fascinated with paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
But dude, the thing that drives me up a fucking wall is like that like folksy fucking ghost story shit.
Really?
Fucking dude, I can't stand it.
Oh, and you picked American vampires. You're going to run into a lot of them. I'm
Yeah, I
guessing.
did run into a lot of them, and I changed it. I changed the topic.
Well, here is it better than number stations though for you?
Oh yeah,
Has to be way
no.
better
It
than
was
that.
way better. It was actually it was actually really fun.
There you go.
I found a lot of really cool YouTube channels and stuff.
Right.
I forgot them all. I'll probably pin them in the comments or something like that. They were pretty cool though.
Was it still the other YouTube channels and stuff? Was it still like factual or
The folksy
like,
ones?
Or like was it like a straight creepypasta kind of?
No,
thing?
that's the thing is that they were like it was a factual story, but the
Right.
way they were telling it was very like dramatized, and it was all like this guy with like a fake fucking Appalachian accent, and it was just like driving me up a fucking wall like the whole time.
I'm excited. I'm so pumped. I've been looking forward to this one for a minute.
Yeah, it's a cool one. It's interesting. So the topic for today is the New England vampire panic. And it kind of spanned from the 17 to the 1800s.
Really?
Yeah.
So 100 years of this?
Yeah, 100 years of this.
Woo!
And I have my notes. I'm going to be looking at my notes quite a bit. I apologize. So this all stemmed from, well, actually, let me get into the vampire stuff. So it's really interesting because the vampire stuff is like, there's lots of vampires in folklore.
Yeah.
And obviously, like the modern day vampire, like what we think of a vampire, like doesn't really line up or like resemble the actual folklore legends.
They're much more corpse-like and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
they're much more corpse-like. They're a lot more like it's almost like a demon inhabiting a body.
Right.
You know what I mean? It seems like it's a lot more demonic, and then it's also a lot more like bloodthirsty. Like it's almost as if it's like, you know what, like a ghoul,
Right.
like a ghoul, like a crypt ghoul.
Right.
It's like that's kind of like what like a vampires in folklore like used to be.
like Carrot Top now.
Yes, like
Yeah.
Carrot Top now.
Right.
But it's very interesting is that this New England vampire panic was actually very different from folklore beliefs of vampires.
Well, it's not really our bag, right? Like we got witches covered.
Yeah, and it was
fucked
in
that up
it was
pretty
in the
good.
same place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was to say, yeah. There's a. It's funny because like in all of these vampire stories, I'll get into a handful of them, but there's like it's like men and women that were vampires
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But in Salem, it was only women that were vampires.
Yeah,
So
obviously.
yeah, obviously, so they had a issue.
Dude, they're
with-
on brand.
Yeah,
dude.
they had issues.
Dude, those boys never quit. Those boys never quit.
Yeah.
As soon as they were done with witches, they were like, "What?
The vampires.
Yeah,
And
somebody
then-
got TB."
There's a couple. So we'll get into it, but like essentially, anytime somebody's thought of a vampire, it's like they dig up the body and like investigate the body,
Yeah.
and then anytime they didn't have signs of vampirism, they're like, they're clearly witches.
Yeah, obviously. Obviously. The witch hunts. I hope we do one on that someday.
The witch hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody had moldy bread and everybody got real single real quick.
Yeah. What's that? What's that shit that that moldy bread gives you? The like, is it like
Witchcraft.
no more the poisoning? It's like not arsenic. I don't know. It's like some crazy like hallucinogenic thing that like makes people go crazy. So like that's why they're saying like a lot of this weird panics in these
Right.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
grain mold that was making people go crazy.
Yeah.
Like I think there was an episode of Hardcore History where there's like some town in Germany where like like in Munster, like the entire city like went fucking ape shit and crazy, and like a whole army like surrounded the like town because they like locked themselves in and they went fucking nuts, and like they got taken over by like a religious
Right.
cult leader, and like years later like there was like, oh, I think that there was like moldy rye bread. They killed like fucking hundreds
I
of
think
people.
they have the record for witches too. Germany.
Germany?
Yeah, I read one where they did 600 in like a day.
Like a German. Oh,
Yeah.
like burning at the stake?
Yeah. And all their familiars, which was all the cats and like frogs and shit, they just chucked them in the fire along with them.
Yeah, that'll do it. That would be some pretty awkward holidays after that.
It you know what this does, being like playing video games and doing this podcast too, is every time I hear some shit like that, I'm like, that'd be a fucking such a sick arena for like a fucking video game. Mm-hmm. Imagine you doing your hunt showdown shit, but like around you there's 600 fucking people burning. Mm-hmm. That'd be tight.
Or you're like running around like hunting women, throwing them in bonfires.
Okay, editor.
Oh, yeah.
Editor Nikki,
Edit
we're
that out.
Yeah, we'll get rid of that one.
So during this time in New England, the countryside was pretty much like ravaged by consumption,
Right.
tuberculosis.
Yeah.
And they used to call it consumption because, you know, your body pretty much like withers away. You start bleeding out of orifices.
I'm sure that didn't help the vampire.
The vampirism.
vampire madness.
No, it didn't.
Sick.
Yeah. And and so at this period of time, I believe the numbers are 2% of New England's population died of tuberculosis from 1780 to the 1800s.
Right. Ooh.
And then I guess after that, like throughout the entire East Coast, 25% of people died of tuberculosis
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah, I've been poking around a haunted sanitarium for maybe an episode, and they talk about how it used to be a fucking tuberculosis ward, and they had a tunnel for like a corpse tunnel, and they're like, it's supposed to be the most haunted place on earth. Which, go figure, it's one of our fine mental health facilities in this country that they'd put all the fucking TB patients into.
There's an old TB hospital where my mom lives out in the Central Valley, not in Central Valley, but in the Sequoias.
Really?
It passes Central Valley. It's right down the road. It's like the biggest thing there. But now it's just like crappy housing.
Oh, they turned it into housing?
Yeah.
Oh,
it used to be
fuck.
a TB hospital, then it became like some crazy person. I don't know, some kind of other hospital, and then now it's just like low income housing for like, old people.
You want to live in the fucking
Yeah.
tuberculosis ghost
That
factory?
little village doesn't have a stoplights.
God damn.
Yeah,
Let's go.
that would suck.
Podcast trip.
We need to address this. I think there was some ground rules of the podcast trip, because you brought this up in the Sea Monster one too. I'm not going to that cave. We should go to Vegas, but I'm not going to that cave.
I'll go to Vegas.
Yeah, I don't want to go to the fucking TB hospital in Central Valley.
What are we going to do in Vegas? How can we make this a tax write-off?
I'm sure there's haunted shit in Vegas. A bunch of mobsters died. We'll do a true crime one.
The true crime.
Yeah.
About me losing all my money at the casino? That sounds like a fucking crime to me.
I'm not gonna lose shit at the casino. It's gonna be the strip clubs. We know it.
Edit that out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be
You get one, I get one.
Warhammer store.
Yeah. It'll be at the Games Workshop store.
Dude, there's ever a fucking Warhammer store like that's gonna top all the Warhammer stores.
No.
It's probably gonna be Vegas.
No.
Really?
I've been to it.
Where?
Yeah, so I went to the LVO with this kid a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, this actually sounds dumb. For anyone that gives a rat's ass, the LVO is like the biggest Warhammer tournament in the world, and it's in Las Vegas every year. Anyways, and I went to it. I didn't compete. I was just there as an observer. I was a coward for sure. But anyway, so me and Nikki go there, and then we're like kind of like a day early for the tournament. So we go to the Games Workshop store, and it's like a fucking tiny little kiosk.
Really?
It's pinner.
Really?
Yeah, it's like as big as this room. It's as big as the podcast studio.
Yeah. You would think it like that'd be the time. Strike. All right. Well.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Tuberculosis vampires.
So there's a few stories that like kind of like go into this stuff, but it just kind of seems like it really popped off in like the 1780s.
Okay.
You know, and so tuberculosis was kind of like ravaging the land.
This is still like powdered wigs and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is though, it's like that this is like the Gilded Age. You know what I mean? Like they have like electricity and like industry. It's like it's kind of like the beginning of the modern age.
In the 1780s?
Well, more like the 1800s. You know what I mean? I think it's like the late 1800s.
That turn of the century though, yeah.
But it's just crazy that like they were still fucking spooked by this like folklore stuff, and they're like, "Oh, this disease is
right.
a fucking monster." You know what I mean? It's a demon. It's not.
Yeah, it's a otherworldly thing.
Yeah,
it's an entity.
exactly. And so one of the very first kind of cases is the I think it is in Easton, Massachusetts.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
It's like a video game hunt showdown.
Yep.
1896.
1896. Yes, it is.
Dude, bringing him was a great idea. I love it so far.
Okay, so it's fun. You know how I keep talking about how researching this stuff pisses me off? You're gonna see it in real time now. But me just getting fed up.
Yeah.
With producer Nikki. I'm just joking, Nikki. We all love you. But yeah, okay. So in Easton, I think it's Easton. I apologize. I don't know anything about the East Coast. Bear with me.
Yeah.
In Easton, Massachusetts, there is an experience of a young lady named Rachel Burton.
Okay.
And she was married to a Captain Burton. And she had died of tuberculosis. She got sick and died of it. And then like a year later, he ended up marrying somebody else.
Yeah.
And then she started to succumb to tuberculosis.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, and then so it's a very like long disease. Like I think she suffered through it for like 2 years.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And it's basically like it crystallizes your lungs kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It causes a bunch of fucking damage.
Yeah. Like
okay.
I think the misconception is that it's like a breath, like a lung thing.
Yeah.
But apparently it's like a blood disease.
Okay.
And which kind of like goes inside with the whole vampire thing.
Okay.
And so all these people and all these town folks, and then even her husband was like, this has to be a vampire. And so he was convinced that it was his late wife who was who was the vampire.
Oh, I didn't know that was going that way.
That was cursing his current wife.
I thought it was going to go the other way, where they were going to be like two ladies have now succumbed to the fucking TB. This guy must be the vampire.
Yeah. Oh no, he blamed it on his wife.
Nice. Dude,
Yeah.
simpler times. God damn.
So he
You can't do shit now.
No, I've tried.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I've tried to do multiple blood sacrifices. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, we let witches get popular now. Now you can't. Now they're all just like hot on Instagram. So
Yeah.
it's funny. As soon as they don't look like bog monsters anymore, we're like, they're cool.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they could be around.
Yeah, everyone's a fucking witch enthusiast now.
Yeah. Excuse me, I'm Wiccan.
Yeah. So anyway, so this guy thinks that his late wife is actually the vampire who's cursing him and his family.
Oh,
And,
get your shovels.
And so he kind of, I don't know if it's him or if it's the town folk or whatever, but like they gather around 1,000 people
Hey.
to dig up his wife.
All right, we're back.
There's a little bit of a technical difficulty.
Yeah, what happened?
Well, let's just say it was producer Nikki's last day. No, our camera ran out of juice, so
It ran out of juice.
now it's just audio.
Yeah. Just back to the old days now.
Just back to the old days,
Yeah.
like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Don't worry, we'll be coming back with the video soon.
Yeah. Well, the next episode is Florida stuff,
Yeah.
and
that'll be on.
that entire episode is all filmed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got that one done.
Yeah, we got that one done a little out of order
Mm-hmm.
because Cody was really excited.
I was very excited. I think I delivered. You guys have to see for yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, you were in the middle before the technical.
Yeah, so I was on
Difficulties.
the Burton family. His wife, his former wife died of tuberculosis, and then his current wife has tuberculosis, and he gets obsessed with this like vampire demon idea. Superstition kicks in.
Okay.
The entire town is like worked up, foaming at the mouth. They're like, you know what I mean? They all think that his former wife was a vampire as well.
And at this time, it's not like fucking you guys are, getting a little excited. It's like a fully kind of medically accepted thing, like vampirism, like vampires.
Yeah. At this time, like vampirism is like a
Like it's not crazy that they're like, oh, it's a vampire. Like,
No.
people are like, oh,
no, and I'll touch on that a little bit because it is kind of in these more rural areas.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like the big city folk, they don't believe this. They think tuberculosis is like a disease,
okay.
and it's
So it's a little split. It's a little like,
exactly,
okay, the
exactly.
more educated urban kind
Yeah.
of areas.
And, I was going to kind of get into this a little bit later, but, there is kind of a common belief that a lot of these reports are kind of like sensationalized by the media. And
No,
I know.
you don't say.
And so it might not be of them. Because if you look at all the newspaper clippings and stuff of like all this
Right.
like vampire stuff, it's never the reporters are never really like, oh, this town had a vampire. Like vampires are real. It's always
Secondhand.
these villagers believe there's a vampire.
Uh-huh.
And so there's kind of some speculation that a lot of this stuff is like kind of like cultural like prejudices that they kind of like obviously like look down on all these like people that live in these like backwoods communities.
Right.
And so they're kind of like overly hyping up the paranormal aspect of their beliefs.
So it's kind of like how they like the deliverance kind of thing. Like they all kind of like have sex with each other. And fucking
Yeah.
inbred kind of thing. It's like
Yeah.
that of the time. Was
Yeah.
like, they have vampires over there because they're all crusty.
Yeah.
And poor.
Yeah, and it's like there
Gotcha.
is
All
there
right.
is a lot of like very strange like folkloric beliefs and local remedies that they maybe have been using, and
I
then
cannot wait.
and so they're kind of tapping into that stuff and trying to and like really like overblowing the vampire part. But that's
holistic
just
medicine.
That's the speculation, though.
Yeah.
They could just be kooks thinking that it's vampires.
Yeah.
I don't-
I just know whenever we get into home remedies, like for some shit like this, it's rough.
Yeah.
It's never like fucking, take this potion. It's always like, well, we got to fucking put lead spikes through all the joints in your body. See if it gets rid of the vampires.
Oh, I'll get into that. Yeah. I'll get into. I saved the remedies.
I bet.
So pretty much like this entire town. So that I guess at this point, I think it was Easton, Massachusetts. The town was, the population was 1,300 people, and the newspapers reported that 1,000 people came to this woman's grave to be exhumed.
Damn.
Yeah, so it was like...
So it was a very widespread kind of panic.
Yeah, it was a huge panic.
It wasn't just like a
because
lynch mob or anything
yeah,
like that.
Because at this time, when people got tuberculosis consumption, like it was like taking out entire families.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you were just instantly probably ostracized and isolated.
No, not really. Like,
really?
Yes and no, but like... They didn't know that it was like transmitted through, like it was an airborne pathogen, I believe they call it. Like they didn't know that, So one of the things that they would do is that like if somebody was like a little bit wealthier, we'll get into this with the last stories, like is pretty much the most documented, the most famous vampirism in America story. And what they do, the more wealthier folk, they would kind of send them off to a sunnier climate,
right?
And so, but all that would do is like spread tuberculosis,
ship them down south, ship them out to Arizona.
I think they said Colorado is like where they sent some people.
I just had the dumbest thought. It could be the THC, but is this the birth of like sending all the old people to Florida?
Yeah, I think so.
Is this like the groundwork of that?
Yeah, this is the groundwork of that for sure.
All right.
So 1,000 people show up to them exhume this body, and they dig her up, and the body is fairly decomposed. Because
we talking about a year, right?
No, it was 3 years. Because the second wife had been suffering for tuberculosis for like 2 years. Okay. 2.5 years. Yeah.
Well, what's a body look like after 3 years? It's got to be just bones, right?
Back then, it was probably all fucked up.
Yeah.
But so what they do is they exhume this body, and then they like chop it up, and they cut off the head, and they take out the heart and the liver, and then they cook it up on a blacksmith's
like anvil.
Whoa. Yeah.
Okay.
And to ward off, and then they had like everybody around there breathe in all the like fumes and stuff like that to like get rid of the disease.
Oh, this is getting better by the minute.
Yeah.
Everybody gather around.
Yeah. And his second wife dies.
Right.
Of tuberculosis.
Oh no, go figure.
Yeah.
No way.
So it didn't work.
This dude must be immune though, because he's been going strong for years.
Yeah.
Just surrounded by death.
Yeah. Surrounded by, he must be immune. Maybe he's like the typhoid Mary of tuberculosis.
Well, maybe he was a fucking daywalker, dude. Like
well, he was probably the vampire.
Yeah, dude. All of their strengths, none of their weaknesses.
So there's cases like all throughout the 1700s of stuff like this,
right?
And it's like I said, like tuberculosis was like ravaging this entire area.
Yeah, and you got a lot of human suffering, and so you got a lot of people needing an answer, needing something to blame.
Yeah,
I could see how, and you didn't have news, you didn't have any, what the papers. How often did the paper come out? And what was the most widespread one? Like the Times?
At that time?
Yeah.
Who knows?
So you're not getting like, oh, we figured out it's tuberculosis. So you just have your folktales to
exactly.
fall back on. I could see how hysteria could take place real quick.
Yeah. but it like completely gripped like this entire area.
I know it's gonna get bad.
Yeah, it does get bad.
Yeah.
So there's there's cases like in 1817, 1790. It's like they're pretty big cases of the kind of the same thing of like somebody gets tuberculosis and then they kind of like backtrack to see who it might be,
Right.
and then they like go. And there's a lot of cases in like Salem,
Yeah.
and so pretty much it's interesting that in Salem, all the vampires were always women.
Of course.
And so anytime that they would like dig up a body, exhume a body to see if it had vampirism.
That's weird. All the fucking vampires in Santa Cruz seem to be women too.
What about the Lost Boys?
That's crazy.
What about the Lost Boys?
I know what I said. They look like Cinderella.
Good call. Isn't it funny that we actually kind of like live in this like a weird hotbed of vampire
mania. That fucking movie, man.
Yeah.
That movie, it touched hearts and minds. That's for sure.
It's actually pretty funny.
Hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
The Lost Boys?
Yeah.
Really?
I think I saw it when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen it recently.
It's good. I mean, it does its thing.
I have a couple of songs on my Spotify mix from
Of
the
course,
soundtrack.
everybody loves Cry Little Sister. Dude.
Yeah, that song
fucking
rips. Rules.
Right?
That song is sick.
You know what it makes me want to do?
Mm.
It makes me want to play the old Wolfenstein and just put on Cry Little Sister and go down those hallways, try to find the fucking paintings that have doors.
Yeah.
It just makes me want to do Cry Little Sister.
So pretty much the most famous story of this entire scenario is in 1892. So it's like 100 years of like people thinking that vampires are causing tuberculosis.
Right. Oh God.
And so
Okay.
like when I talked about earlier the Gilded Age, in 1892 we are straight up in the Gilded Age. Like
Yeah.
we're in the
The Industrial Revolution's kicking off.
It's
kind of
been
full force.
Yeah. And I'm not sure when they developed like penicillin and stuff, but it's like, what was that, like in the 20s probably?
When they,
Like in the
when they invented
1920s?
penicillin?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, because I know Al Capone died from something that you could easily cure with penicillin, right? He died of syphilis, didn't he?
Yeah.
that's a
Producer Nikki, look it
penicillin
up.
Oh, he does. Let's-
No, when penicillin was invented.
He doesn't have his mic on either.
He doesn't have his mic on either.
Nope.
Okay, he turned his mic on just to
Yeah.
Google something. Fantastic.
While he's not speaking, so we can hear the fucking ceiling fan. Technical difficulties kind of day.
Okay. So in 1892, the case of Mercy Brown.
Oh, I think I heard about this
Yeah,
from one of my fucking shows.
You've definitely heard about this.
Yeah.
So the Brown family got completely decimated by tuberculosis. Like the mother and father
Really?
both no, not the father, I apologize. But the mother and her older sister died of tuberculosis.
Is tuberculosis? I don't know. You're no doctor, but is
I'm a-
tuberculosis like? Is it harder on women? A lot of these fathers seem to be getting out on fucking scathed.
Unscathed?
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. I don't think
Yeah.
so.
But both of these stories so far, the father is just chilling in like a den of fucking mucus and misery,
Yeah.
and he seems to be fine.
Yeah, so
He's enough to dig up a fucking grave.
so you heard it here, folks. All fathers are vampires.
Mm-hmm.
Especially back then.
Yeah.
Those dirty birds. Okay, so Mercy Brown's family, mother, older sister dies of tuberculosis.
Right. How many are in the family total?
I don't know, a shitload. I'm sure. I'm sure I have it in my notes, but I don't see it. We'll say a bunch.
Okay.
I have it back then. I have a nagging suspicion it's like 8. It's like 8 kids.
Yeah, they didn't stop at the 2 or 3
Yeah.
mark. No.
And so her brother gets tuberculosis, and then her brother's like suffering for a really long time with tuberculosis, and they actually ship him to another place. Like I believe it's Colorado. They send him far away to a tuberculosis. What do they call those? Sanitarium.
Yeah.
You know, and then
The happiest place on earth.
yeah, the happiest place on earth. And so at this time, he actually starts to get better. And he starts like improving from his tuberculosis. So then he gets sent back to, where is this is in Rhode Island.
Right.
Yeah, Exeter, Rhode Island. So he starts to get better. They start to ship him back. But while they're shipping him back, she gets tuberculosis.
Mercy.
She gets, and I think at the time, no, not at the time, but like now they call it like galloping tuberculosis, where it's like a super fast acting tuberculosis.
Oh, good.
Like, some of these people, like they suffer for years of tuberculosis before they finally succumb to it. But with the galloping tuberculosis, they like die really fucking fast. So while he's coming back, she gets tuberculosis and she like goes downhill like super, super fast.
Okay.
And so, but at this time, like all the townsfolk and all these people are like bugging the dad. They're like, it's a vampire.
It's fucking mom or the sister.
It's a vampire. You know what I mean? Like we got to figure out what's
the
going on. And then
I love it when they get the shovels.
So this woman Mercy dies of tuberculosis.
Okay. Good.
And then the son is back, and then when he comes back, he instantly starts going downhill.
Good.
You know what I mean? Like his tuberculosis is in full effect. Yeah, he's all fucked up again. Right. And so like, you know, they're all like, it's a curse. So the dad reluctantly is like,
dig up
my wife and my oldest daughter. And so they dig their bodies up. And I think it was like a year or two that they passed away before. Mm-hmm. And so when they dug them up, their bodies were all fucked up.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any signs of vampirism.
What's the signs of vampirism?
So the signs of vampirism are pretty much your you look like you're still alive.
Right. Okay.
You know, and then there's like pooling of the blood. Like it's essentially like they'll cut
in the mouth.
Yeah, because like so tuberculosis, a lot of times blood starts coming out of the orifices.
Yeah.
And sometimes this like blood will accumulate like after death into their mouths. And so they're like, oh yeah, they woke up at night and were like eating.
They were feeding.
They're feeding.
Right on.
They didn't see any signs of that because the bodies were like very decomposed by that time. Okay. And then so they pretty much are like, oh well, it's your youngest.
Is there anybody of any kind of education involved with these like raiding parties? So do they get like a town doctor, or is it just like fucking Joe Bob?
I forget the number. I think it was like almost like 500 people. It was like 500 people that kind of gathered around and pretty much forced the dad to dig up Mercy's grave.
So then now we're getting into the freshies.
And they bring a town doctor.
Okay.
And at the time it was like winter in New England. And so like the ground was like frozen solid. So they didn't bury her. They just put her in a tomb.
Okay.
And so they put her like in a weird waiting tomb.
This is like the Bram Stoker's, like that one that hangs out in the grave tomb. Okay.
So they put her in a tomb because the dirt wasn't thawed out enough to dig it up. God. So her body was like completely refrigerated, like super intact.
It's like she was at a morgue.
And so when they exhumed her body from the tomb, and they said that she had like flush skin and that like she looked like she was like sleeping. Right. You know, so they're like, she's definitely the vampire.
She's obviously the vampire.
Obviously. And so they cut off her head.
Good.
They take out her heart.
Good.
And then they burn it on a blacksmith stove again.
Nice.
And so what they do is, and I believe like the liver and like all her organs, they like burn them up. Right. Completely desecrating this lady's body.
Of course.
And then so...
Not a lady. Eric, please. A vampire?
Sorry. This is a vampire.
Fucking ghoul of the undead.
A vampire?
Yeah. Vampire.
So they they mutilate this vampire's body, and then they cook up all her organs until it's like ash.
Oh, good.
And then they turn the ash into a mixture with water. And then they give it to the brother who's dying of tuberculosis to cure him.
Boy.
And because that's also like one of the cures is that you burn the heart into ashes and you mix it with water and then you drink it as an elixir and it should cure you.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love
and
it.
so they feed him this elixir and then he's completely cured.
Oh.
No.
Wait, bullshit?
No, he dies.
Yeah, I was going to say immediately from tuberculosis.
Yeah, he died. He died. I think I forget. I don't know if it's like days or weeks later, but he dies very soon after
Fucking
that.
days.
Yeah, days.
It should be. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Just imagine. You're too weak to fucking move.
Yeah.
You're in a bed.
Yeah, and they're just like,
And for the last like 3 weeks, they've been digging up your fucking mom and sisters and hacking their heads off.
Yeah.
And then you just hear like a fucking creak of a door open. And it's your dad with a fucking jug of gray sludge. Like,
well,
hey, bud.
So have you ever?
No, you're not feeling the best.
Have you ever been like? Have you ever seen like at like a bar or like a construction site where like everybody puts their like their cigarette butts in like a tin can or some shit like that?
Yeah.
And it fills up with like rainwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah, they give you that to drink.
You think he told him
What?
that it was a sister in all her organs?
Oh, they for sure told him.
Yeah,
and they said it was a cure.
Yeah.
You know. As I said before, it doesn't work. He dies.
Yeah.
But like all the and there was a doctor there too, and the doctor was like, "This is crazy." Like I think it's like his reporting where like these people are fucking backwards, like, you know, because at the time they kind of like started knowing about like bloodborne pathogens, and you know
They started to put it together.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so there's some learned people that kind of knew that this was not going to fucking work.
Well, it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
I always say. It's fascinating how most of these, like whether it's witches or vampires or something, it's fascinating to me that it really affects the women.
Yeah.
Like more so, even the disease portion of it. Like that, it's wild to me that you don't really, it was all the sisters, it was all the moms and stuff. I mean, the son died from it too, but they were like, no, well, he's obviously not. He's fucking not a vampire, he's a man.
Yeah.
He's one of the boys. He's in there chugging down his fucking sludge sister.
Fuck, it's so fucking disgusting.
It's so gnarly. We made this cement from your sister. Get it down.
Yeah, it's actually
This reminds me of when you went on that diet where you only drank those like fucking Soylent.
Oh, Soylent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that Soylent.
You just drank sludge for 3 months.
Yeah, it was gross.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's pretty interesting because now this lady is kind of like a she's a bit of like a tourist attraction, like her grave. And I believe that inscribed on her grave it says the last documented vampire in America. Because up until then, the newspapers and everyone were kind of like, oh, this is vampirism.
Right.
And so she was like considered the last case of factual vampirism in America.
What a title.
Yeah, and people like leave like
I bet it's so fucking cringy.
oh dude, yeah,
The
like
shit that gets left at her grave.
yeah,
I bet it's
they say
so
that
fucking cringy.
that people leave like fake vampire teeth and stuff like that.
Vials of
Yeah,
blood.
yeah, probably like
Yeah.
Twilight novels, stuff like that.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what you went through researching this.
Well, so this one was good. It was pretty interesting. You know, it's I wouldn't say it's like technical or whatever, but like there's lots of names and dates in this one that like I kind of wanted to get right. So it's like I had like a lot of notes and stuff.
Right. I just meant the delivery system. I've dipped my toe in to researching some vampire adjacent topics, and those people are fucking irritating as shit.
Dude, so like I said before in the beginning of this episode, before Nikki ruined it, you know, like I'm a big YouTube guy, you know, I go on Reddit a little bit to kind of get all this information.
Right.
And there's a lot of like really killer people that like talked about this, you know, there's like very extensive like people talking about it, like like really good, but they I noticed it, like you could tell kind of that like they're all reading the same Wikipedia page,
of course,
because like they all like kind of like say like the same like little loop, you know.
We'll be joining the ranks.
Most I just copied and pasted the fucking Wikipedia for most of this.
I love it. So good. But you really researched the shit out of this one.
Yeah, it was a fun one actually. It was a really interesting topic.
You got producer Nikki in here. He's a time vampire.
He is a time vampire. And that was also one of the things, was like one of the first iterations of this episode was going to be American vampires. So I really wanted to look up like, so before the Appalachian thing, I mean, after the Appalachian thing fell apart for me, there was like some like pretty cool like American vampires. Like there's this one in like, I believe like Boston, where it's technically American, but the vampire was a guy named from Guyana, Africa.
And Ghana?
Ghana, yeah.
Okay.
That's not Africa, huh?
Ghana?
Yeah.
I think it's South America.
Yeah, South America. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Right. I only know that because of Jim Jones, right?
Yeah, Jim Jones. Yeah, for sure. Are we going to do a show on that?
On Jim Jones?
Yeah.
We're going to get in trouble.
We'll get in trouble?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck either, actually.
Right? We're not going to do that justice. Those are like real people that died.
I know.
And like not even that long ago.
Yeah.
But I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to, they're going to get us in trouble for that.
Yeah. We'll get yelled at for sure.
That's where Feinstein came from, right?
What?
Feinstein, that's where she got popular.
Oh, is that where she got popular?
She was she went down there with whoever was senator at the time.
The guy that got shot.
Was she there when that went down?
Yeah, that's how she became popular.
Fucking just redeemed himself completely.
Damn.
Producer Nikki coming in. So Dan Feinstein's a vampire too. That's what I took from that.
Yeah.
That for a while.
So there's a whaling vessel, and this dude from Guyana named James Brown was on this vessel, and
the hardest working man in show business.
Yeah, he was the hardest working man in show business. Yeah. But apparently this guy was a bit of a hothead, and like he was like would get into like altercations with like crew members a lot. And there's a younger crew member that they got into this like crazy argument, like a physical fight.
Right.
And James Brown said that he called him a racial slur, and the guy said that he didn't, that they just got into a fight or whatever, you know what I mean? You know, it was like late 1800s. So
so he 100% didn't call him a racial slur.
Yeah, so I have a nagging suspicion that a racial slur was probably thrown around. But anyway, so this guy
fucking boat is named a racial slur, I'm guessing.
And so this guy, they get into an altercation, it gets broken up or whatever, and things kind of like simmer down. And then it was either later on that night or like very soon after that when they're on the water. A crew member is kind of walking around doing the rounds, and then he sees James Brown hunched over that dude's dead body.
Wait a minute. Does he say that he fell from the fucking rigging?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
He fucking sliced this motherfucker up with like a whaling knife.
Nice.
And he's drinking his blood.
Hell yeah.
He's like drinking his blood. And so they subdue him. Like a bunch of dudes go in there and subdue him. And then I think like somewhere very close, there was another dead body with no blood in it that was like all cut up with a whaling knife.
Ooh.
And then,
so some of this could be linked back to like where he was from South America, right?
Yeah.
Like James Brown or whatever. Okay. So some of it's gonna be linked back to like a lot of the folklore around like Mayans, Aztecs, and stuff like that is consuming
Yeah, and
to gain power.
and they think that's kind of where Bram Stoker got the inspiration for like the plague boat.
Okay,
Yeah,
the Demeter.
Yeah, that's where they say he got the inspiration from that.
Okay.
And so so they arrest him. They take him back to Boston and arrest him or whatever,
Right.
and then he gets on the death penalty.
Oh, no way.
And then at the time, the president, I believe, was Andrew Jackson.
Okay. The 20.
Yeah, whoever took over from Lincoln.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's Andrew Jackson.
We're fucking that up. Andrew Jackson was like an OG one, wasn't he?
I don't know. Look it up, Nikki.
Yeah. Nicholas.
Nikki, look it up. Andrew Jackson. I know. So, anyways, I forget the name. Which president took over from Lincoln after Lincoln?
After he had that cool night at the theater.
Yeah, after he went to the theater.
Yeah. Do you want to know something? It's still listed as an assassination, but I'm pretty sure he was seeing Wicked and he just shot himself. That's a part 1.
Wicked's a part 1?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's a 7th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, dude, you're way off.
Well, then look who it was. Just don't. Okay, he's like, yeah, you're right, you're wrong. Close his phone, turn his mic off.
God damn, dude. We need to come up with a cool nickname for Nikki. All the good podcasters have nicknames for their producer men. Yeah.
Producer man Nikki.
Producer man Nikki? Mm-hmm. No, they used to have like a you know how they need to have like a cool fucking handle.
So anyways, this president, Andrew Johnson.
So close.
So close.
So close.
It was
kicking the dick.
Fucking close.
God damn.
It was close. And everybody at home, by the way, I Googled that myself. Nikki was just standing there.
I watched it.
All thumbs.
Yeah, I watched it.
What were you reading?
Andrew Jackson's Wikipedia.
Is it good?
Well, I didn't know it was Andrew Johnson.
So anyways, so I guess Andrew Johnson, at the time, he was like staunchly against the death penalty.
Really?
Yeah. So yes.
Yeah.
So he pardons him. He doesn't pardon him. He doesn't like let him out, but he pardons him from the death penalty. So,
okay. So he gets life.
So he gets life, and so they send him to an asylum.
Okay.
And while he's in the asylum, he kills a fucking bunch of people. Like
and drinks their blood?
Yeah, and
hell yeah.
And people say that he's like a tiger. Like he's like super agile and super strong, and it takes like tons of people to subdue him.
They're known for that.
And he's like has like wild strength, and he's like has insane temper and just flies off the handle, and has like killed like multiple guards and like and
this dude's tight.
And multiple cellmates. And I forget how he dies. I think he just gets sick and dies.
Yeah, it's fucking
but
blood.
like
some kind of fucking bloodborne pathogen.
but up until like his like dying day, he was like fucking killing guards. Like he was fucking people up. And so that was like that one and the Mercy Brown one are kind of like the most famous American vampire stories.
Well, old-timey ones.
Yeah, old-timey ones.
There's a bunch that make you want to fucking peel your skin off and make a tent to hide from the cringe. There's a ton of them. That's what I thought you were going to be knee deep into. I was worried.
Yeah.
When you told me that this was going to be the topic, I had no idea it was going to be this cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be dope, but I thought you were signing up for, like, dude, these vampire people are fucking maddening.
So you thought it was going to be...
Yeah. Dude, your first week into this, you sent me like the stereotypical fucking like vampire expert.
Yeah, like
and she is exactly what you think. She's in like a fucking Victorian ball gown with like a mask on.
Yeah, she had like a masquerade mask with like green hair.
Like black lace and shit.
Yeah.
I texted you back that same day, like, dude, this chick sounds fucking.
That video was dumb as fuck. So that
She's got
video,
a fucking shelf of mean looking dildos.
yeah,
Yeah, I can guarantee you in that house.
that one was like, I don't know, like a lot of this like modern day stuff is like so fucking dumb because
It's
it's
the
all like,
cringiest shit I can think of.
yeah, because it's all like creepy pasta stuff and like, man, like, so you know how I was getting worked up about the ghost stories and the campfire like themed shit.
Yeah.
The fucking creepy pasta stuff drives me up a fucking wall.
With the vampires or just in general?
Just in general. And so like
Right.
all the modern day ones are like that. Like they're all very like energy vampire things where
That's
like
the lamest fucking monster ever, by the way. An energy vampire. Fuck off.
yeah. And so like there's a bunch of stories of like some like people in Vegas that like are like cabbies.
Right.
And they're like, oh, these like group of men in like nice clothes came into my cab and I had this like strange feeling like wash over me and like my body went limp and then essentially like they're like anything this person told me to do I would do,
Right.
which
Yeah.
sounds like the beginning of a
Yeah.
of an inappropriate story.
Right. Right. I was gonna say, is this a fucking hotel documentary? Like, what is this? Yeah, this sounds like the fucking Red Shoe Diaries. Remember those?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With
David
Duchovny?
David Duchovny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. I remember because we didn't have like any.
The night I met an energy vampire in Vegas.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, we didn't have like HBO or any of that stuff, and I would go visit my grandma for the summer,
Right.
and she had like Cinemax and like HBO and all that stuff, and
Grandma was getting fucking wild.
yeah, and so many a nights I discovered myself watching Cinemax
I bet.
and Red Shoe Diaries.
I bet.
Yeah,
You ran into a lot of fucking energy vampires there.
mostly myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say.
So
Yeah. Now the energy vampire thing now, because you told me about the topic and I get bored pretty easily, so I started poking around a little bit too, even on your stuff.
yeah.
And like I came across you seen the videos that are all like the like meetups
Oh,
of like the modern vampires. So they have like these fucking swinger parties, and they'll like show and they have like the one that you feed off of,
yeah.
and stuff, and it's mostly energy ones now because of bloodborne pathogens.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just they're like exactly like swingers party. They're like in fucking somebody's house in the suburbs, and it's just a bunch of people dressed up like fucking Anne Rice and Twilight characters, and they just go around fucking caressing some fucking the supply like a
Yeah.
I don't know how you get to be that, but I don't know. I guess it's a really high point, but that's the cringiest shit I've seen in a while. And that's when I had to fucking distance. I was like, all right, God's mercy, Eric. But
Yeah, that.
Jesus.
I was kind of getting into that stuff, and it was fucking pissing me off so bad.
They all look. Remember Mystery, the pickup artist? Remember his show?
Yeah.
They all look like him.
Yeah. Yeah, they always have like really creative looking goatees.
Fucking real energy vampire
Yeah.
needs. Those are his fangs, dude. That's how he sinks into you.
Good God. They all wish they look like Chris Angel.
Oh my God. I bet he's the what do they call it? The head vampire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The
the leader
ringleader.
of the coven
Yeah.
or whatever. No, that's witches. Fuck.
Yeah. What is a?
Is it a nest?
Who gives a shit?
Dude, you know what I watched the other day though? Have you ever seen John Carpenter's Vampires
Yeah.
with
Years
fucking
ago.
James Woods?
James Woods. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dude, watching clips of that is so funny because
It's the best.
he's like some crazy badass, but
It's
he's like
so
wearing
tight.
like super like mom jeans and stuff, and he's just like he's already old.
Dude, what I love about it. So in case those out there haven't seen it, go look up John Carpenter's Vampires. So James Woods.
Isn't it called Vampire 2000?
No.
That's something else?
A different one. That's the
Okay.
one with the guy from 300.
Sick.
That is a movie. It's also very cringy. But James Woods plays the leader of vampire hunters. Yeah. And it's just they all look like the 1996 like archetype badass. Like they're all in like jeans, like the light blue jeans, tucked in shirt.
Like me, I'm just like that now.
Yeah. They all look like you. Yeah. and it's not a good thing.
Damn.
Yeah, but it is one of the best vampire movies ever if you're into complete fucking cinematic train wrecks. My favorite is that there's a chick in it that she gets like bit, but she's a hooker before that, and James Woods is like all sweet on her, right? And like he's like, that's what they do. They hunt vampires during the day.
You're not a
And then
Star
they
Trek guy
fucking-
though, but
Yeah,
like,
I'm a Star Trek guy.
isn't it what's her name? Jerry Ryan from like Star Trek Voyager.
It might be.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I think it's her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the minute it's like when she's a hooker,
Mhm.
he's like, baby, I'm gonna take you away from all this.
I love it.
We only have tonight, sweetheart.
Such a
And
fucking
it's James Woods. so
such
you're
a power
this is
move.
Fucking
yeah.
wow. Oof,
Yeah.
it's
I'm gonna
wild.
take you away from all this.
Yeah, dude, he's not exactly the heartthrob that you're expecting. And then the minute she like starts to succumb to the vampire illness, he's just like, this fucking useless whore. God damn it. And they just beat the shit out of her like for the rest of the movie. They have to keep her hostage for some reason. She
Yeah.
has like a mental link
Oh,
to
okay.
the fucking head vampire.
Okay, because he's the one that like.
But from the minute she gets bit, dude, all of that shit goes out the window, and and James was just like, once we find out where he is, I'm putting you down. Just roughing her up around fucking hotel rooms and shit.
Jesus. Hey, well,
I watched a couple in the last like week gearing up for this.
What-
I was
what-
excited for your fucking
wasn't there a Martian vampire movie too? Like
the Ghosts of Mars.
Yeah,
I
or
was
is that something else? Is
They're ghosts.
Oh, they're ghosts. They're not
Yeah.
vampires. Okay.
Yeah,
But that came out around the same time, right?
I think so. They're
Okay.
all kind of like early 2000s,
Yeah.
late 90s.
The golden
kinda
age of
shit.
cinema.
I'm fucking believing it now.
Yeah. Now.
Have you
for
seen
sure.
what comes out now?
No, I think this year saw Nosferatu, and that's probably the only thing I'm going to see in the
That
theater.
was the high point.
Yeah, I
That
remember.
was the high point.
I think last year I only went to the movies. I only saw Dune and something else. I
I
think
didn't even do that. I'm burnt out on Dune.
Dune. It was good. It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, they pushed it. They pushed it too hard. Now I just like I can't. I don't know.
What's like the only movies that make money now?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but anything else like I don't know that new Captain America movie. I ain't gonna go see that.
Did that come out?
Nah, it's supposed to be out like soon.
No.
It looks like shit.
They shouldn't. They need to stop.
Marvel?
Yeah,
Yeah, they gotta
They just
stop.
need to stop. They should have stopped after Endgame.
They should have
They
stopped
should have
after.
just stopped and given it 10 years, and then
Yeah.
like come back with the same exact people.
Yeah, instead of doubling
done
down and
again.
making TV shows that everyone hates.
dude.
Yeah,
This is fucking painful.
yeah. I'm
Don't-
glad that I'm not a Star Wars guy. Because talk about
Those
painful.
poor bastards.
Yeah, anyone that's like a Star Wars guy,
Oh.
man.
Dude, my heart goes out to you. If
Yeah.
you're like a hardcore Star Wars guy and you're like an old school Star Wars guy, I'm so sorry. But
Yeah,
believe me, I know what you feel like. I mean, I'm a Batman fan, so we've been through fucking hell and back
hey man, I'm
every time.
I'm a huge Star Trek guy, and pretty much
Yeah, they fucked your shit up too.
yeah everything since the end of like Voyager sucks.
I don't know. I like the first of those remake movies. I thought the first of those was
Oh
good.
yeah, those were pretty entertaining.
Yeah,
like I was
yeah.
actually kind of stoked when that came out because I was like, oh yeah, like as a Star Trek guy, I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah,
take it seriously,
yeah.
give it a big budget.
Yeah, I'm like, Star
I
Trek-
thought that was going to be dope.
Star Trek deserves like a big budget
Yeah.
sci-fi spectacle movie.
That happens though. I have a sneaking suspicion that they get like a franchise like that going, and then the actors just all go nutty. Like
Yeah,
that Chris Pine guy,
yeah.
like their Captain Kirk, the new one. Like
Mhm.
I think he just gets super nutty because now you see him now, and he's just got like fucking fanny packs on.
Yeah, and he's like all
carrying
around.
around-
and shit.
Yeah, carrying around his like. I love that every celebrity has like 3 trans kids.
Mhm.
So they're all just, like their entire job is like pandering to whatever virtue is like really big right now.
Yeah.
And so like, dude, you see them all and they're just like, wow, yeah, it's 1 in 3,000 shot to have one, but fucking every single one. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is. And
Yeah,
I think they just get kooky. I think the same thing happened with Marvel too.
yeah. I think it just gets too big, and then I think these producers get too much power, and they're like, nothing I do can fail.
They also leave behind once they start getting real big. They start leaving more and more of the source material behind. And so
Yeah.
then it's just you're doomed.
Yeah.
You're doomed.
Well, with like, especially when it comes to like comic book shit, like the stuff from like the 70s and 80s, are usually very good.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's entertaining. The stuff in the 90s, I grew up in the 90s, so I love that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I love like the spectacle of the 90s comic books, but like
It was amazing. We had Image pop on the scene. We had Todd
Yeah.
McFarlane coming along. You had all the fucking Judge Dredd shit
Yeah.
coming out. The 90s are fucking great for comic books.
yeah.
Actual comic books. You had like both the biggies were putting out cool shit.
Yeah.
You know, Batman had that Nightfall run with that big ass Bane and the fucking super cyborg Batman and shit.
Yeah.
And the real Batman. was
Oh, yeah.
healing.
What was his name? Azrael?
Yeah, Azrael. Yeah.
Azrael took over the Batman
on the
mantle.
yeah, dude. The other side, you had like Secret Wars and fucking all kinds of shit.
And then,
Thanos
like,
got real big.
Then when you get into the 2000s and like the modern age of comic books, like the writing gets really bad. You know what I mean? And then I kind of feel like the movies kind of started tapping in to like
The bad writing.
the newer bad writing. So it's like, you know, you kind of can't really like build off of like stories that are already bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, obviously the very first Iron Man movie does not like represent like the very first Iron Man comic book, but like they kind of built off of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they made it for the modern age.
You did the same thing. You had an introduction to the character and and see how he gets to fucking Tony Stark to Iron Man.
Yeah, like in the original, it was like,
And now he gets Sunspider. So
yeah, Sunspider. Folks, Google Sunspider.
yeah,
We won't get into it. We'll let the listeners do their own research on that one.
Oh, Nikki's doing it right now. He's gonna be upset.
Yeah, you're gonna get upset, Nick.
Yeah, I was upset.
So yeah, the New England Vampire Panic.
I love it.
Yeah, it was fun.
I love it. I love anything where it takes it back to like when vampires were scary because like in folklore they're very fucking scary.
And so kind of like what I touched on earlier, where like a lot of the people that like were reporting on it,
Right.
they kind of like there's kind of some theories that like it was the reporters that
There's
were
kind of some National Enquirer
that were from like
shit
the big
going on.
city looking down on all the like the country folk and kind of like making them seem
or hunting it out too.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
finding
Yeah.
some story
because
of some
like
whacked out
a
town
lot of
and
these
then
cases there was
blowing
always
it up.
reporters on hand.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and documenting it.
They're just waiting around for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you know, it's pretty gruesome. You know, I don't know how prevalent tuberculosis is, but I also looked into it. Apparently tuberculosis, like they found people from like the Stone Age, like not fossils, but like skeletal fragments of
Right.
people, and they had tuberculosis in their lungs and shit.
I
So
bet.
so it's something that's been like plaguing the oh, he just looked up Sunspider?
Yeah, Nikki did.
Yeah, okay. So it's something that's been plaguing like, you know, humans forever.
Yeah,
And you know, the East Coast of the United States back then, cold, dank, you know, just like a hotbed for fucking disease.
God.
You know,
Can you imagine how much it would suck to be one of these fucking fathers of these because it was always the father, like, dude, you have the reverend.
yeah.
And I bet he's real turned up, and
Yeah.
you're just getting pressured to dig up your fucking ex-wife.
So this dude, the Mercy Brown, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So the dad didn't believe in vampires,
Right.
and like the townsfolk forced him to do it,
Yeah.
and he wasn't present.
Oh, good.
When they dug up the daughter.
Yeah, he's fucking.
Like he dug up the wife and eldest daughter.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, you know, they're not fucking vampires. And then I guess like when they're like, we got to dig up your youngest daughter and see if she's a vampire. He's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like his entire family dies of fucking tuberculosis. His entire community's like fucking like badgering this dude. And so he wasn't even present. He's like, I don't want to be there. Do whatever the fuck you want. I'm not going to be there.
Good for him.
Yeah. And then they feed her ashes to his son.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, was he there for that?
yeah, I don't think he was there for that. So, you know.
God damn.
Yeah, it's a cool story. It's sad, but you know, luckily nowadays in our modern age, people don't get in hysterics over the media.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that the media isn't manipulating anybody anymore.
Yeah. Society's way better.
Well, you know, we don't really listen to it anymore. Now fucking Taylor Swift and Elon Musk tell us everything we need to know.
Yeah, that's true.
society. So
Yeah, usually when I go, now that we have this podcast, I can just go on tangents in a microphone.
yeah, it's really helpful.
But anytime I used to go on tangents, with people that know me, they're like, "What are your sources?" I'm like, "I don't know, I made it up."
Yeah, most of the time.
I saw it in a dream.
Yeah.
All right, hey, producer Nikki, what do we at?
We're about an hour.
About an hour.
All right.
All right, you want to call it?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think we covered this one pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I love it.
What do you have in store for us next time? No, well, next time is going to be
Next time I'm bringing you some really fun stuff from Florida.
yeah.
I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna
Okay.
be I'll give you a little nugget. I'll be going down a Bigfoot adjacent path. I probably just gave it away, but there's a lot more where that came from. It's not just that one. And I gotta say, God bless cocaine. As much as I've covered this next topic, it really outdid itself with Florida.
In Florida?
Holy shit.
I love it.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know what I got cooking up for the next one.
For the one after my
Yeah.
next one, I'm thinking, because I want to get away from this. I've done some pretty creature centric
feature
stuff.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna get away from that, and I'm gonna be bringing you some ghosts,
Ooh.
some spooky ghosts, or actually some erotic ghosts.
Erotic ghosts.
Yeah, they're around.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I want to do.
You know what's weird about erotic ghosts, by the way? They're all dudes.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
So, in my, I don't know. I'm still trying to think. I think I might do. Either I'm gonna do a spooky, like, depressing one and do the Hat Man,
No, okay.
or I might do a goofy one and do the Sandown Clown.
Ooh.
So yeah,
Are there any pictures of that thing?
just artist interpretations,
okay.
renderings. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, or like the Loveland Frogman or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You will be switching. I'll be doing
yeah. Maybe I'll.
some
Yeah,
ghastly,
actually, I'm gonna do
some ghoulies.
I'm gonna do the Loveland Frog. I want to do a fun creature one.
Dude, that's what you, as somebody who's done two pretty creature
Yeah.
heavy ones, just know it's not like you go into it thinking it's going to be wacky. It's not going to be fucking wacky, dude. You're going to be like, fuck. Like, I don't know what the Loveland Frog is,
Yeah.
but science won't help you, though. It's be like, we know it's not that.
Okay.
And yeah, it's going to scare you.
There's a few eyewitness accounts, so yeah.
Yep. All right.
All right. Well,
Here we go.
here we go. That was fun.
That was fun. Later on, everybody.
All right.